Good evening. On the same day, the province and city announced plans to build more affordable housing right here in Toronto. Stat Canada's release of the Census paints an ugly picture of the state of poverty in our country. While the data found there was an increase in median income of households, the number of low-income youth and seniors living right here in our country hasn't seen that same improvement.
I can't say I'm surprised by the numbers, but I'm disappointed by them.
17% of Canada's 6.8 million kids live in poverty. That represents 1/4 of the 4.8 million people living under low-income conditions in 2015. That data released by Stats Can today, who found youth under the age of 18 were 4% more likely to be low income compared to adults. This number decreased by 1% in the last decade. Stats Canada attributes that drop to a number of factors, including the introduction of family-related programs and a decreasing population. But a local nonprofit organization says that drop doesn't mean it's an improvement.
There's been a change in the methodology, so we can't really know precisely what the year-over-year switch has been in terms of child poverty, but what we do know is that 1 kid in 4 is far, far too many, and whether that fluctuated up or down 1% does not change the depth of that problem.
The census, which bases data on median household income, also found the more children a household has, the more likely it is to be low income. The data found Windsor has the worst rate, with 24% of youth living in low income, while Toronto came in 9th.
Toronto's it's 26% of kids live in poverty. That's more than 1 kid in every 4 living in poverty in one of the richest cities on the planet. It makes no sense at all. Toronto is still the child poverty capital of Canada. It's a problem we should have solved decades ago, and it persists in exactly the same scale that it's been around for years and years and years.
The impacts of living in these conditions create a domino effect, says Sean Meager. What begins at a young age oftentimes means less opportunities at adulthood, impacting things like food security, job security, housing, and education. But it isn't only youth experiencing these conditions.
It's wonderful.
According to Stats Can, the number of low-income seniors in Canada increased from 12% in 2005 to nearly 15% in this year's census. Meager says that number is 2% higher here in Toronto.
When we see the rate at which our seniors population is growing, and we see the number of seniors who are living in poverty in Toronto, that combination is devastating. And we don't have anything like the infrastructure, supports, planning in place to manage that kind of challenge.
The numbers released on the same day as the province and city announced more affordable housing would be coming to Toronto, 600 units to be exact.
It is taking us to a situation where we're able to do more by way of building affordable housing.
Though housing is a step in the right direction, Meager says it's time the city refocuses its efforts to eradicate poverty when it comes to our youngest and oldest residents.
We need to look closer at these numbers to see who's actually coming out of poverty and who's still stuck there.
And that's exactly what the city is doing now. Staff received this report 9 a.m. this morning, and they are looking at the census data in its entirety, looking to see what it says about Toronto and Torontonians.